There is another kind of plant. Like sometimes what happens in especially rainy season, if your bread is left out and it is also there is some humidity in the atmosphere or by chance some water drops on it, you see a next day or still next day on the stale bread there is white cotton like structure. If you continue to observe it, by one more day it will all turn black. What has grown over it? Sometimes similar kind of structure also grows on your jam, jelly, pickle or even leather goods or other things. What is this? This is fungi or the fungus. Fungus is a kind of organism which is non-green. Now this cannot perform photosynthesis, but it also does not disturb the other living organisms. How does it get its food? From the dead and decaying matter. They derive food from dead and decaying matter. Why it turned black? Because there are spores formed. Spore is black in color. It is very tiny. We can't see it with our naked eye. It is microscopic and they are all the time blowing in air. They are present in air. And you know what they are doing? They are watching who has left the jam bottle uncovered, who has left the bread or the roti outside. So the moment they get these food items, and if there is right temperature, that is a little warm temperature and there is some humidity or some moisture available, it germinates and the new plant grows. These type of plants are called saprotrophs and their nutrition is called saprotrophic. So saprotrophic nutrition is that nutrition in which organisms derive their food from dead and decaying matter. So now we have studied different type of nutritions, and if we want to make a chart for this, it can be something like this: nutrition, two types, autotrophic, heterotrophic. Hetero again parasitic, saprotrophic and insectivorous. So this is how the nutrition of an organism can be. Which kind of a friend do you like? The one who is always seeking help, demanding one thing or other, or the one who also offers help? Obviously the second one. And in the living world also, there are some plants which live together. They share their resources, like you share your tiffin together in the break or otherwise also. Similarly, these plants, they have actually two organisms together, and this kind of relationship is called symbiotic relationship. And one example is lichen. In the lichen, there are two plants, algae and fungi. Algae is autotrophic, that means obviously it is green, it has chlorophyll, so it can make its own food, while fungi is saprotrophic, that is non-green, it cannot make its own food. So what they do? They combine together. So algae makes food, and what does fungi do? Fungi provides shelter, it absorbs nutrients. So in this way we find that they develop a relationship of sharing resources. In the case of fungi, as we studied in saprotrophic nutrition also. What fungi does is, how does it get food from say bread, jam or pickle? It produces juices which dissolve the food or which act on the food, and then that digested food is absorbed. So, in a way you can say the process of changing food into simple form takes place outside the organism. But in the case of animals, it is not like this. You know, we put food inside our body and then it is changed into simple form. But in the case of saprotrophs, this simplification takes place outside the body. And algae can make its own food. And where do we find algae? In ponds, in lakes, in water. Many times you must have seen that ponds are covered with thick green covering. What is that? That is nothing but algae. Algae is a simple plant, but it has chlorophyll and it can make its own food.